Hello everybody. In today's lesson, or video I should say, because it's actually more a session between you and me, we are going to speak about time management as a software engineer. It's quite hard to follow and to respect our time. We always have emergencies. We always have things we didn't plan before. And that's why it makes quite hard to be able to finish something on time. Okay, it is true that we are, human, and sometimes as a human being, we are sick, we are tired, we are not motivated, and other times it's just that you cannot do it on time and you have to accept this. And if at work they don't understand, things always take more time than expected. It's really hard to scope a project, to scope a task, because the knowledge we have is always an artificial knowledge. Artificial knowledge, I mean by the way we don't fully know what it might involve in the code base, the refactoring we might have to do there. It's something a bit external. It's I like to say artificial, but it's not really artificial. It's just not. We pretend to know something we don't fully know, unless we know exactly what to do, and then it will be so easy if you know exactly what to do, what it will involve, and the downside, if there are any bugs that could happen, that could arise from your changes, that's very easy to scope the specific ticket. But without this, it will be quite hard, and now, like for instance, it's like 4 p.m. I feel tired, and it's normal. We shouldn't compare ourselves with others. And scoping a ticket is superfluous. Like, what I mean by superfluous, it means we try to predict exactly the way it will happen, because we need to estimate in a way, but it's very hard. And quite a lot of times we skip some steps we didn't plan or we didn't assume it will happen. So yes, be prepared to have always more things to do than what the initial task says. So always scope your tickets higher. Always. Usually you would use the Fibonacci numbers, Fibonacci numbers, it's Fibonacci sequence. The Fibonacci sequence, so it's 0, 1, 1 plus 1, 2, and then 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 3, 8, 8 plus 5, 13, and then for the really hard ones, it's like 13 plus 8, 21. It's very rare that it goes beyond 21. Normally 21 is like a really hard task. If it's more than that, if the complexity is higher, it means you should split the ticket into 2 or more tickets. Or you should probably have an investigation. So like you should have a spike for that. So in Kanban, in Scrum, you call it a spike ticket Scrum. A spike. So spike is like an investigation. A spike, user story. When the task is quite hard to estimate, what is a spike in Jira ticket? So for instance, the information on being team will decide to schedule a agile spike story in the sprint to prepare the investigation, to prepare what we have to do for that specific task. So we then do a spike to know more because we don't have enough clues to be able to scope the ticket. So it's really hard to give an estimation. Don't work too hard either, because at some point, especially when we get older, or when we have family, or when we have people we want to take care of, if you work from 7 to 11 p.m. every day, at some point you might have a burnout, because working for a company is good, but you also need to take care of yourself. And it's not a charity. It's better than to spend time for yourself on your side projects, so you can do some overtime, some extra hours. That's okay. But if it's every day, then you need definitely to ask an increase, because it's about fairness. I used to work so much from Monday to Sunday, every day, all the time, and after I was feeling like I was spending no time for myself, no time with my partner, no time with my family, with my mom. And those people are very important to me. So that's why I had to reflect on my life. And I want to share with you some pieces of advice I wanted to know before. Because when we do so much and after actually our employer doesn't understand anyway what to do, and they don't treat you very well. Of course, not all of them are like that, but in my case, it was never enough. So sometimes you just work so hard and they just don't see what has been done, because, software, you always have to maintain the software. You have to update libraries, you have to do so much in the software. And of course, you will not see right away the results, but in the long term, if you keep your software up to date, it's really beneficial. And I wish you all of the best for what you have to do, for how you have to maintain your application. I know it's not easy every day, but that's why I'm here, and I really highly suggest you to always think that it will take always more time. Don't be scared to say it will take 3 weeks instead of 1 week. At least it's better to deliver than your project earlier, rather than saying it will take 1 week and it will take 3 weeks. So it's better to say it will take 3 weeks right away up front, and then you can maybe make it in 1 week. That's even better. Now, in your mindset, you should say, okay, in my mind, the deadline is 3 days, for instance. But I say to the product owner, to the company, to my manager, it will take 1 week or 1.5 weeks. 2 weeks. That way, for you will not have the Parkinson syndrome, thinking that if I say 2 weeks, actually I should use all of the time I allocated for it. It's a bit like when you are at school and your professor gives you 2 hours to finish your exam. You take the full 2 hours. Even though you could have done in 1.5 hours, you take the 2 hours because someone gave you 2 hours. And this is what you have to be careful not to be trapped in that kind of Parkinson law syndrome, where if you say to you 2 weeks, you will always take the 2 weeks, and so you will work slower. Say to yourself, it can be done in 3 days. Give you as a challenge 3 or 4 days, but say to your manager it will take longer. Of course, 3 days, 2 weeks is just an example. It depends on the task. And so you can also use some applications. I use timers in my case. I work on Pomodoro. I love it. So I try to split my tasks into really small chunks. And for me, it does help to be more productive. I hope it can also be beneficial for you. And I will see you in another video. Happy coding.